They literally believed up until about the 60s or so that Black people with dark skin were cursed. Angels always appearing as like very white and angelic. And then if you think of like, demons or things like that who may be depicted as dark.
Hey, yo, today I'm gonna speak on colorism and how it has affected me, from my childhood to my current day. I was born in 93, so I grew up in the 90s and I grew up in the early 2000s, where being a dark-skinned boy or girl was low-key, I ain't gonna say frowned upon, but, we got, a lot of us can attribute to being bullied. Getting called blackie and getting called an oil spill, getting told that, I don't want to play tag with you at night because you gonna win, stuff like that, And I'm not gonna lie, it did have an effect on my, later years, because I did not know nothing was wrong with being dark-skinned, until I got to my formative years.
A couple of things here. Colorism doesn't just impact Black women. It also impacts Black men. I appreciate him sharing his experience because he's giving us a real life example of the way colorism impacts men as well. We understand there are also ways in which colorism can impact Black men, the way they are treated in society, their ability to get jobs, how likely they are to be racially profiled, things of that nature. But, there's also a reality of how Black men are treated even among the Black community when they're dark skinned versus light skinned, right? There's this stereotype usually that, well, at least now, it may have changed, but I feel like now darker skinned Black men are generally going to be perceived as the most masculine, whereas lighter skinned Black men may be perceived as like more like the pretty boy. They may be seen as like not as real, right, of a Black man. I mean, there's ways in which colorism also impacts Black men, but that's what I'm getting from what he shared about his experience up to this point. Let's continue.
It was, middle school, high school. Prior to that, my mother is a chocolate, beautiful woman. So at birth, I loved, my skin color. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. Like, Lauryn Hill, till this day, is my crush. I would choose Lauryn Hill over any woman in America. Straight up. That's how enamored I was with being a chocolate, darker man. So, in middle school, once these standards of beauty and you start seeing how the world and the society pushes this color barrier, you really, I'm like, wow, I really started to have a disdain for my own skin color. Until I read this book called The Color Complex, and it spoke on the doll theory, and it spoke on basically skin politics.
Yeah, this is the first time I feel like I've heard this from a Black man. I'm assuming he's probably not the first one who's gone through this because, as I mentioned before, colorism definitely impacts Black men. It just so happens to be that Black women talk about colorism, I think, the most frequently, right? Colorism, featureism, texturism, they dominate the conversation around that, but both are impacted. I just think perhaps the way in which they handle it is quite different. And, notice how he mentioned how just naturally left to himself, he loved dark skin. His mother was dark skinned. And so that obviously impacted the way that he viewed himself, viewed other people. And it wasn't until he started having these instances in society that told him that he shouldn't, that he started to struggle a bit. And honestly, that's the situation for a lot of people. So yeah, but I just find it interesting coming from his perspective as a man, because these are usually things that I hear from women more so, but it's not to say that Black men themselves also cannot and are not impacted in similar ways. Let's continue.
And how, being dark and being Black was associated with low-key evil.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Not even low key. It's not even low key. Even if you look at some of the earliest media depictions of Blackness, even if you think of the words in the English language and darkness oftentimes being associated with evil things. If you think of depictions that we've seen of angels always appearing as very white and angelic. And then if you think of demons or things like that who may be depicted as dark, the devil's food cake is Black, angel's cake is white. It's little things that we don't even think, that we don't even put a lot of thought into. Language itself in America, in American culture itself, has examples all across society where lightness or whiteness is considered better, whereas Blackness itself is considered evil. I mean, even if you think of the Mormon religion, which is literally an American religion, they literally believed up until about the 60s or so that Black people with dark skin were cursed. So, I mean, there's like literally religions, American religion, that literally perpetuated that belief. And Mormonism is huge. So yeah, it's not even low key. If like, no, this has been blatant across all levels of society. And the little things that you don't even think about, in foods, to language, to even religions. Okay, let's continue.
This is how they view a particular skin color. I'm like, well, it has to be something great about this if they are hating on it or they don't like it, because people don't just hate stuff for no reason. It has to be because it's beautiful. And that's what shaped where I'm at right now. And I can tell you this from the bottom of my heart. If you ain't in the spectrum of brown to dark brown to midnight black, I don't want you. Point blank, period. If it's a group of women, my eyes naturally go to the darkest woman in the crew.
You know what's funny? I talked about this in a live with Blunt Girly, shout out to her. And we don't ever really talk about reverse colorism, or put another way, Black men who are exclusively dating darker skin women. The lowest they're gonna go is like a quote brown skin, like dark brown skin girl. Like, cause that exists. I know Black men personally who have a preference for dark skinned women. If they had their choice, if they had their preference, it would be someone who is as dark as possible. Like, they really like dark skin. I have met multiple Black men like that. We don't ever hear that side. We always hear the side of men who choose lighter skin, who end up with lighter skin, but we don't ever really talk about the Black men who like literally have a preference for that type. And they exist. Like, they absolutely exist. Here's a prime example. And he's dark skinned too. Some people will say, oh, well, okay, the only example of that is a light skinned dude. Some people will argue that maybe only a light skinned dude will like a dark, because I've heard that before. But no, there are like dark skinned men who have a preference for dark skin. Like, it does happen, y'all. Like, we gotta stop. Like, we gotta stop. Okay, let's continue.
I want my woman to be brown or black as fuck. Excuse my language, black as all ever. That's just how I get down. And I love all shades and hues of melanin in all women, period. But I want my woman to be just like this or darker. Or I don't care. If you're brown, you can get down. But I would prefer her to be more on the deeper melanated side, because I want to have babies that are as dark as midnight, straight up. That's my goal. When I look at a woman, the first thing I look at is her skin tone. That matters to me.
That's wild.
I'm sorry, I'm just enamored with who I am and what I want to produce into this world. And I want Black babies. My daughter is a chocolate little thing. My baby is a chocolate little thing. And her mother, that was one of the things that attracted me to her mother. Besides her sweet personality and her being a good person, I said, I ain't gonna lie to her flat out. I'm gonna definitely get one out of you. We go get her, I'm gonna have to chocolate baby about you. I said that and I meant that. One of my good friends, but nonetheless, this message is to say this for Black men and Black women: man, love your skin tone, love it, love it, love it, because I promise you ain't nothing better than a melanated man or woman.
So he said it. Yeah, he said it. I feel like sometimes Black men appreciate dark skin more than Black women. Honestly, that's just my gut. I'm not saying that I can necessarily like prove this statistically or whatever. I'm just saying I literally do be feeling like Black men have more of appreciation for that, just because it's Black women that I hear who complain the most about colorism, and also, in my opinion, are some of the most aggressive supporters of colorism at the same time. Not so much Black men. He talked about it. He talked about his scenario, but Black women are the one who go in and really compare. Like, they get deep into comparing skin tones and shading other Black women if they feel like they're too dark, different things. Like, I just feel like, and y'all let me know if I'm tripping. I could be way off the wall here, but I kind of feel that Black men have more of an appreciation for like really dark skin than Black women. I feel like dark skinned Black women oftentimes feel that that is a deterrent. Now, there's some who embrace it, but even then, when you talk to dark skinned Black women who are beautiful, there may be a time where they question it. There may be a time if they were teased for it, particularly if they were in the West, and they had to kind of come to a journey of acceptance. It wasn't just like default. Black men, it's really common for men to want babies that look like them, especially if they love themselves, they love their culture, they love who they are. It's common like for them to want kids that look like them. So what he said is, it makes a lot of sense. I'll say it makes a lot of sense. Anyways, y'all, that's what I got. What do you think about this whole thing? Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.